Good afternoon, and welcome back to the show. I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian. Today we're checking into the world of hospitality, specifically the modern hotel. It's an industry that has been completely reshaped by technology and the fundamental shift in guest expectations over the last 5 years.
Reshaped is an understatement. The traditional model of hospitality, the warm handshake at the front desk, the bellman taking the luggage, that entire introductory ritual is being digitized, sometimes to the detriment of the guest experience, and sometimes surprisingly to its benefit.
It's a fascinating paradox. The primary pain point used to be the friction of check-in and check-out. Now you have major chains pushing a fully mobile-enabled journey. You book on your phone, you get a digital key on your phone, and you bypass the desk entirely. The hotel is leveraging technology to remove human interaction where the interaction was previously transactional and slow.
Exactly. They've identified that the front desk interaction wasn't valued for its warmth. It was despised for its inefficiency. So removing it is seen as a convenience, not a service cut. But this shift places massive pressure on the remaining human touchpoints. If the only person I speak to is the concierge or the bartender, that single interaction has to be stellar. It has to be the high point of my stay.
The labor allocation is totally changing. You're moving resources away from administrative tasks and into experience creation. It's a higher value deployment of human capital. Think about the rise of in-room tablets that manage everything: lighting, climate, room service, even scheduling housekeeping. It shifts the cognitive load from the guest trying to figure out which light switch does what to a single intuitive interface.
And the data collected from those in-room systems is staggering. It moves the hotel from simply being a provider of temporary shelter to a collector of hyper-specific behavioral data. They know exactly when you wake up, when you order coffee, whether you prefer the blinds open or closed. It allows them to map the guest journey with frightening precision.
That guest journey mapping is the core competitive advantage right now. It means the hotel can anticipate needs rather than merely react to requests. We noticed you stayed out late last night. Would you like us to push your housekeeping time back by 2 hours? That's a proactive service delivered through data. It's the new definition of luxury.
But it introduces a complex philosophical question. At what point does data-driven personalization become intrusive surveillance? Guests are happy for the convenience, but they still want the illusion of privacy. It's a very fine line that hotels are currently walking.
It is, and the technology extends to logistics too. Robotics are being piloted for luggage transport and room service delivery in several major urban hotels. Again, removing the human from the mundane, repetitive task. A robot delivering bottled water is a novelty. A human delivering a personalized cocktail is service. The distinction is key.
I think we're seeing a genuine split. The budget and mid-range hotels are embracing automation purely for cost efficiency. The luxury sector is using automation as a background support to amplify the moments of high-touch human service. They use the digital tools to free up staff to spend more time on meaningful interactions.
That is the perfect summary. Automation for cost in the lower tiers and automation for amplification in the upper tiers. The bifurcation of the hospitality market is becoming starkly apparent, defined entirely by the role of technology.
Welcome back. That idea of data-driven amplification leads us directly into the massive challenge facing the industry, the personalization paradox. Guests demand a unique, tailored experience, but they're increasingly wary of the surveillance required to deliver it.
It's a fundamental conflict. To give you the seamless experience you want, knowing your coffee order, presetting the room temperature, having your favorite local newspaper ready, the hotel must retain and analyze your profile. But that profile exists long after you check out.
And this retention of behavioral data is where loyalty programs become far more than just point systems. They are massive data capture ecosystems. Every click, every request, every ancillary spend is logged to build a predictive model of your next stay.
The use of AI in dynamic pricing and inventory management is another huge factor here. AI algorithms are now managing room rates in real time based on demand signals, competitor rates, weather forecasts, and even local event schedules. It's no longer fixed, it's fluid. This optimization is fantastic for the hotel's RevPAR, revenue per available room, but it can feel opaque and frustrating for the consumer.
Opaque is the key word. When a consumer sees a price fluctuate dramatically in a short period, it erodes trust. They start to feel like they're being manipulated by an algorithm rather than paying a fair market rate. The industry needs to get better at communicating the value of the dynamic rate, not just the complexity.
And let's not forget the security implications of holding this volume of highly sensitive personal data. Credit card information, passport scans, and detailed movement logs. A hotel data breach is exponentially more damaging now than it was 10 years ago because the profile held on each guest is so much richer. The investment required in cybersecurity is now an existential cost for major chains.
It's an astronomical cost, and the compliance requirements like GDPR and similar privacy regulations are forcing a global standardization of data handling, which affects every single property, regardless of its size or location.
The personalization paradox extends to the physical design, too. Hotels are using data to inform how they design their future properties, where to place the power outlets, how many communal working tables are needed, what size the bathroom should be. Data is dictating aesthetics and function.
It creates a cycle. Guests generate data, the data dictates design, the new design generates more specialized data, it refines the experience, but it risks creating homogenized, algorithmically optimized spaces that lack local character or charm.
That's a valid concern, the risk of the data-driven blandness. However, the data can also identify hyper-niche markets. If data shows a surge in solo female business travelers, a hotel might design specific floor safety protocols or specialized communal lounges. Data doesn't just drive conformity, it can also drive specialization.
That's the optimistic feel. The future is probably a blend. Highly standardized efficiency in the operational background and highly specialized data-driven personalization in the foreground, provided the guest consents, or more accurately, tolerates the data capture.
Moving on from the digital infrastructure, let's look at the shifting values of the modern traveler. The demand for sustainability and wellness is no longer a niche market, it's a mainstream expectation, especially for luxury and experiential travel.
Absolutely. 10 years ago, putting a card in the bathroom asking you to reuse your towel was sufficient. Today, guests are demanding verifiable eco-certifications, locally sourced food, rainwater harvesting systems, and low-impact construction. Sustainability has moved from a marketing gimmick to a moral imperative.
And it's not cheap. The capital expenditure required to retrofit old buildings with geothermal heating, gray water systems, and solar panels is significant. But customers, particularly those in the higher income brackets, are willing to pay a premium for that transparency and ethical assurance. It becomes a value proposition.
The wellness trend is equally powerful. The hotel room is evolving from a place to sleep to a sanctuary for recovery. We're seeing integrated wellness spaces, in-room yoga mats, meditation apps built into the tablet, dedicated lighting schemes that mimic natural daylight cycles, and specialized sleep technology like smart mattresses.
The competition is no longer just on room size, it's on sleep quality. Hotels are now competing with the guest's own home, which is often equipped with the latest smart sleep technology. They have to match or exceed that standard to justify the price point.
This has led to the proliferation of hyper-niche markets. Extended stay residences are blurring the line between a hotel and an apartment complex, catering to the digital nomad or the long-term project consultant. They require different design, full kitchens, laundry facilities, and better co-working spaces.
And we're seeing the rise of concept hotels, properties that center the entire experience around a single theme, whether it's music, literature, or extreme minimalism. These aren't just places to stay, they are destinations in themselves, serving a very specialized demographic that values experience over efficiency.
The common thread through all these hyper niches, wellness, sustainability, extended stay, is the blurring of lines between the temporary and the permanent. The modern traveler wants the hotel to feel like a better, optimized version of their own life, complete with their values and routines intact.
It forces hotels to integrate with the local community in a way they never did before. They can't just be a bubble. They need partnerships with local farmers for their restaurants, local yoga studios for their wellness programs, and local artists for their design. This integration creates the authenticity that the modern traveler craves.
That authenticity provides the necessary counterbalance to the data-driven blandness we discussed earlier. You use technology for efficiency in the back end and local culture for richness in the front end. That combination is proving to be the successful formula for future growth. Let's pivot to the physical world, the real estate and design challenges. How are developers and architects adapting hotel design to meet these demands for flexibility and local integration?
The biggest change is flexibility. Land costs and construction times are astronomical, so developers are demanding modular construction and adaptable spaces. Why build a fixed-use conference room when you can build a flexible space that can be a yoga studio in the morning, a co-working space in the afternoon, and a private dining room at night?
That flexibility is evident in the lobby, which has undergone a complete sociological transformation. It is no longer a purgatorial waiting area between the street and the elevator. It is now the primary social and commercial engine of the hotel.
The lobby is now a social hub. It's a cafe, a bar, a co-working space, and a community center. It's designed to appeal not just to the hotel guest, but to the local community, which again feeds into that desire for local authenticity. The more local residents use the space, the more authentic the experience is for the traveler.
The design language of the lobby is also moving away from grand, impersonal marble toward warmer residential aesthetics. You see more integrated libraries, comfortable modular seating, and natural materials. It's designed to reduce the visitor's cognitive load and make them feel immediately comfortable.
And the technology has to be integrated seamlessly into that aesthetic. Power outlets are ubiquitous but discreet. Wi-Fi has to be flawless and easy to access. Check-in kiosks are blended into the design, perhaps looking more like art installations than machines. The term we use is PropTech, property technology, and it's driving all new commercial real estate decisions.
PropTech isn't just about efficiency, it's about experience. Think about lighting design. Advanced systems can track natural daylight and adjust internal lighting to maintain circadian rhythms, which feeds directly into the wellness trend. The building itself is becoming a personalized amenity.
The design of the guest room itself is also shrinking in footprint but increasing in utility. Developers are optimizing square footage because construction costs are so high. But that smaller space has to feel smart, highly organized, and hyper-functional.
That's where we see multifunctional furniture, smart storage solutions, and the removal of unnecessary items. Why have a heavy archaic desk when a fold-out wall shelf and a comfortable armchair will suffice for the laptop worker? It's optimization through minimalism.
The pressure is on architects to design rooms that feel spacious and luxurious despite the reduced size. It's a challenging constraint, but it's leading to some incredibly clever design solutions driven by a consumer base that prioritizes experiences outside the room over square footage inside it.
We've discussed technology, design, and guest demands, but none of it functions without the labor force. The hospitality sector is facing a profound staffing and retention crisis globally. What is the industry doing to bridge the gap?
The staffing crisis is arguably the biggest existential threat right now. The perception of low pay, long hours, and physically demanding work persists. Hotels are being forced to dramatically rethink the employee value proposition, moving beyond standard wages.
They are competing with completely different industries now. An employee might choose a warehouse job for slightly lower pay, but better benefits and more predictable hours than the often chaotic demands of hotel operations.
We're seeing huge investment in cross-training and upskilling. A single employee might be trained to handle mobile check-in issues, serve drinks at the bar, and manage concierge requests. This makes the job more complex, but also more valuable and less monotonous. It helps with retention.
And this ties back to the technology. The deployment of robots for menial tasks, cleaning floors, delivering room service, is less about novelty and more about necessity. It frees up the human staff to perform those high-touch,
empathetic interactions that truly justify the room rate.
The role of the human is becoming distinctly focused on emotional intelligence, EQ. If the machine handles the logistics, the human must handle the emotion, de-escalating a complaint, offering genuine local advice, or celebrating a guest anniversary. You can't automate empathy.
That means the industry needs to recruit for EQ, not just technical competence. They need people who are naturally good at connecting, problem-solving creatively, and handling stress with grace.
And the retention strategies must focus on flexibility for the staff, mirroring the flexibility offered to the guest, offering better scheduling predictability, ensuring that time off is respected, and leveraging technology to allow staff to manage their own shifts and swap with colleagues. It grants them that same sense of autonomy we discussed for the guest.
The investment in employee wellness is also rising. Better mental health support, subsidized meals, and quality uniforms. It's recognizing that the stress of the job, particularly in luxury service, is high, and the employer must mitigate that risk to the employee's well-being.
Ultimately, the future of the human element in hospitality rests on a fundamental understanding. The machine optimizes the transaction, but the human elevates the experience. Hotels must invest heavily in both sides of that equation to succeed.
To conclude, let's look at how guests are finding and booking these integrated stays. The war between direct booking and OTAs continues to rage.
The direct booking war is relentless. Hotels want to own the customer relationship and avoid the 15 to 30% commission that OTAs charge. They're leveraging their own apps and loyalty programs to offer unique benefits, free upgrades, early check-in, exclusive access that you can't get anywhere else.
The customer is getting smarter, too. They use the OTAs for price discovery, then go directly to the hotel website to see if the loyalty perks or the direct rate makes a difference. This billboard effect is still a massive benefit for the OTAs, even if the final booking happens elsewhere.
And the technology of dynamic pricing is getting more sophisticated, making that final price comparison opaque. Rates can literally change hourly based on market conditions, frustrating the consumer who is trying to find the best deal. Transparency is the new trust metric.
I think the future of the guest journey is less about the booking channel and more about the integrated experience. The hotel stay is starting to bleed into the urban ecosystem.
Absolutely. The hotel isn't just selling a room, it's selling access to the city. Think about partnerships with local transit apps, restaurant reservation platforms, or curated walking tours that are seamlessly integrated into the hotel's mobile app.
It's the curated local experience. The modern hotel acts as the highly efficient, personalized gateway to the destination, managing logistics in the background while the guest enjoys the local culture in the foreground.
That seamless integration requires open APIs and robust technology partnerships, linking the hotel's PMS with outside vendors. The entire system is becoming a complex web of interconnected services.
So the modern hotel is no longer a building, it's an operating system, a sophisticated technical, social, and aesthetic platform designed to optimize the guest's temporary life, driven by data, softened by human empathy, and constantly searching for the perfect work-life integration for both the guest and the employee.
A complex platform indeed. The constant improvisation we discussed at the start will be the new normal for the next decade. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the modern hospitality industry.
We appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next week to explore the economics of fractional ownership in luxury real estate.
Goodbye for now,